All right, welcome everybody. Welcome to our online crowd. You can see us. How's it going? We got a bunch of new faces here at our location here in Dana Point. And again, thanks to Tom and Lorraine at Get College Funding for allowing us to come to this great location. We've got a bunch of old faces, a bunch of new faces, so it's really exciting, and quite a few people who have joined us online for today's session. So today I'm going to cover a topic that is a little bit of review for some of you. I think we talked about this briefly in one of our previous sessions, but it's a fun and interesting topic, and for those that are new, it will give some really good background about the campaign builder and how it works. So we'll review some of the functionality and the logic there, which will be good. And this won't take the entire time either, so it'll give us lots of time for just open discussion, questions, things like that. So if you've joined us online, feel free to hop into the chat box that's on the right-hand side of the screen, and you can submit your questions there. And those of us that are here, of course, you can ask your questions live, and we'll get going. So we should do a quick round of introductions because we do have some new people and some old people, and we'll get everyone acquainted here. So Tom, let's just start with you, and we'll go around the room here.
Okay, I'm Tom. My wife Lorraine. College planning is our business. Get College Funding. We've been using Infusionsoft for almost 3 years now. And the results have been spectacular. Scott?
That's awesome. Scott, I've been using Infusion for about 7 years. Just probably the last 3 years starting to use it a lot more. But starting to consider now if Infusion is the right decision because we're going after very specific vertical markets. I think we're going to start doing custom software. So I don't know if I'm going to keep Infusion or not at this point.
I'm Mary Beth Bond. We manufacture an odor eliminator. I've been using Infusionsoft for about a year and a half. All natural, it's like Echo carries it.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Like dog and cats.
Yeah, well, our biggest market actually is pest control.
Oh.
Yeah, but that's not what I use Infusionsoft for.
Hi, I'm Lanny Morgan, and I just joined forces with a lady who's been using it for 7 years, and she's a Cowie Community Open Fighting and Event Innovators, and she said, I use Infusionsoft, get on board with it. So I'm a newbie.
Hey, that's the way it goes. You know, when I joined Infusionsoft company as an employee, there was no official training. You know, and you just got in, you figured it out, and you accidentally, sort broadcast the entire list occasionally and things like that. And, it's just kind of the way you cut your teeth with this. And even now, I'd say, Infusionsoft has a whole bunch of online great training. But those that really leverage it and get the most out of it, just get in, dive in, figure it out, and you blood, sweat, and tears, you get it done.
Yes, exactly.
Daryl, go for it.
Yeah, so I'm Daryl. I help businesses with websites, generate leads and sales. We've got a new mission to help create 200 new multi-millionaire business owners who solve world problems of entrepreneurship. I've been using Infusionsoft probably like you, 6-7 years now, and I love it. And I come here because Tyler's one of the greatest mentors on it.
Yes, he is.
And yeah, it's just an honor to be here.
Yeah. Thanks, Daryl.
Hi everyone, my name is Jim. I'm Jim Guzik. I'm the owner of Spectrum Networks, and a systems integration firm, consulting IT, and I also teach Windows Server classes at a technical college as well. I've been using Infusionsoft for only about 6 months now. Oh.
Yeah, we got to include you here. There we go. There he is.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Next, zooming in.
Nice. My name is Spencer. I've been using Infusionsoft for almost 7 years in a couple different businesses. I love-hate relationship with it, which I think a lot of people do. But it is the mothership of our business, and I drive all the way down from LA to hang out with Tyler and eat burritos. I'm sorry.
Let's be honest, it's definitely about the burritos. It's about Tom Marine's location and the burritos. It has nothing to do with me.
You make these yourself, the burritos.
Yeah. Okay. I'll accept that.
All right, I'm Chris Kwegan. My company's Engineer Marketing Solutions. I just help companies grow sales. I've been using Infusionsoft for about 7 years. So just sort of say that.
Awesome.
Wow,
And I'm Lorraine, and I just feed the Infusionsoft to campaign machine. That's what I do.
Great. Excellent. Get us back on track here. Awesome, and we've got everybody joining us online. Go ahead and introduce yourselves through the chat there, and we can all see on our screen here. your name's coming through and where you're from and anything else.
Teddy says, what's up?
Yeah, Spencer's got a shout out from Teddy.
Oh, Teddy Garcia.
Yeah, Teddy Garcia. What's up, Teddy? Everyone knows Teddy. Quick story about Spencer. Everyone, tell Spencer what your last name is.
Tyler.
So his last name is Tyler. My first son, we've named Spencer Tyler Barnes.
Wow.
So there's a deep connection there for some reason. We haven't figured it out yet, but there's something going on. So awesome. Yeah, let's just dive into this. I'll remind the online crowd here that when you submit your questions and your comments, I can't always see those while we're diving into Infusionsoft. So I'll flip back and forth and try and address all your issues, but I will probably delay answering some of your questions as I flip back and forth between the screens. So what we'll do here is I'm just going to share my entire screen, which is going to start the vortex here. That's what I always love. Jonathan, welcome, up in LA. Been with the Infusionsoft for 6 years. Roger from Windy, Michigan. A bunch of you guys. So I'm going to continue on, and we're going to get right into Infusionsoft here. All right, so the topic of the day is split testing with Infusionsoft. As many of you know, there are tools that you can use for split testing. Some of them great, some of them average. One of the better ones I'd say is Plustis. Plustis has a whole suite of tools for Infusionsoft, and they're great. And their split testing functionality is probably top notch in the Infusionsoft world in terms of what it does. So we'll give a kind of a quick overview of how that works, and then I'm going to show you how you can actually achieve this function in Infusionsoft itself without using any additional tools or scripts or fancy things. So Plustis, the way it works is you got people going through a campaign, and if you want to split the list, you go into Plustis and you set up your split test and say, okay, for these people, for split test A, I'm going to give them a tag, and you can create a new tag in there. So we'll call it split test A tag. Then you create another one for split test B, and you can create other segments. Let's just say it's A and B. And then what it will do once you get done setting all that up, it will give you an HTTP post URL. And so let's just actually hop into a campaign here and show you what this would look like. Let's just say I've got people in this sequence here, and I want to then split a sequence. So I've got test A and test B here. And those will be simultaneous or identical emails minus a few different things we want to change to test, right? And so here we've got, this is how you would normally run sequences that flow in sequences. In this case, we're actually going to break this process. We're going to delete these lines so they don't flow automatically. And we're going to put goals in front here. And as you guys know, you configure these goals with these little icons down here. So we'll switch this over to a tag goal. And you know what, as we do this, I switched the mic to be on the camera so it picks you guys up better. So it picks me up a little bit better for the audience here as I talk. So we're going to switch these to tag goals. All right. And so we'll have tags that are applied to achieve those goals there that start each of those. So for those of you that are new to Infusionsoft, the way this works is these things represent sequences of events that you can time out. And so you have like an email and then wait 4 days and then another email, and you schedule things out inside of a sequence. Sequences are started through goals. And so these round things are goals. Once the goal is achieved, if it's connected to a sequence, it will start that sequence. So what we do here is we're going to put them in, we'll just call it a start sequence here. And we'll put people in there. And then instead of saying an email, the only thing we're going to do is run an HTTP post. So what is an HTTP post? Well, it's the functionality that allows us to send information from Infusionsoft to another server. Okay, and this is where when you log into Plustis and you set up your split testing there, it's going to give you a URL. It's going to give you a HTTP post URL. So you'll come into here and you'll just paste that URL there. So it's going to look like https:// //plusthis.com, not plus thins, but plusthis.com / blah, 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 bunch of mumbo jumbo. And we don't need to worry about what that stuff is. It's all special code for PlusThis to know how to talk to Infusionsoft. So it's gonna look like that. And the way PlusThis works is you don't need to add any additional parameters. You can add additional parameters and other circumstances you'll need to. But with PlusThis, all it needs to pass is the default. So you don't have to edit anything here. You just paste in that URL. What that URL is going to do is it's going to apply. So the list of people that are going through this sequence, randomly, it's going to apply tag A or tag B. And you set that up, of course, inside of PlusThis. When it does that, by the way, you would need to, of course, mark this ready, mark the sequence ready. And then when you put people through there, it's going to apply tag A or tag B. So in here, we would say test A tag. So we'll just create a tag on the fly there. And here, we'll do test B tag. And inside of PlusThis, when you configure that, when that HTTP post happens, it's going to apply one of those tags randomly. And so then, even though we're not connected directly with a line here, since they get to that HTTP post and the tag is applied, it achieves this goal and then moves them into the appropriate sequence. So that way, you randomly get half of your audience into test A sequence and half of your audience into test B sequence. Question?
Can I ask about the random one? Truly random, or does it go like back and forth? There might be 3 of that, and 2 of that, 1 of that.
I'm actually not 100% sure with PlusThis. I can tell you with Infusionsoft, what I'm going to show you in a minute uses the round robin function, and that's a little bit different. So I don't.
If you wanted 3, could you do that at PlusThis?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, you could create another goal out here.
Is there a limit?
Tag B. I don't know if there's a limit. The most I've ever done, I think, is 3 or 4. So you can at least do that many.
Complex, probably.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's the basic way that you're going to use PlusThis, or even a lot of the other tools that are out there, operate in a similar fashion, where that external tool is going to apply a tag in most cases to then split people. Daryl.
Can you just mention for people, because we're talking about split testing, how you still need a certain number of conversions in traffic, because you can set up, because we're talking about, is there a limit? If you set up 8 split test variations and you need 40 to 200 conversions to verify any of them, you need a ton of traffic. So I just thought,
yeah,
that'd be good.
I do not have a major in statistics, but my degree is in human biology, and spent way too much time looking at medical studies where they talk about statistical significance, right? And so that's something definitely to consider. Are your results statistically significant? And we're not going to go into the math that is involved in determining that, but you do need a sizable sample to be able to know, hey, this isn't just a factor of randomness. That it's like flipping a coin. We know that it's a 50-50 chance, but if you flip a coin 10 times, you might get 3 and 7. You might even get 2 and 8. And so with only 10 times, you run the risk of making a judgment call that's not correct. So you definitely want to make sure you've got enough people going through your test to be able to say, yeah, we can pretty confidently say that one is winning over the other. One thing that PlusThis has is the ability to establish a goal tag. And so you could have a tag here that's the goal. So say this is a purchase. I'll call it a purchase tag. And you can set that up inside of PlusThis, and so they'll actually show you conversions. How many people got split down test A and then converted, and how many people got down test B and converted. And it's been a while since I've been in there, but I'm pretty darn sure you can also tell it, hey, once we get a certain number of conversions or a certain percentage one way or the other, then cancel the test and run with the winner. Which is really cool, because then you're going to set it and forget it and not have to worry about, oh, do I need to get in and check and see where it's going, and am I losing business because half of my people are going down a bad route, things like that.
So then, like the logic inside would be, let's say you tell I want to run 100 tests, and everybody gets a clear winner, like maybe 80 on one test, allowed now to just be setting that tag every single time to drive to that.
Yeah, exactly. I've been talking very theoretically here today, so let me actually just log in and we'll talk a little more specifically, so that I don't say things that are silly, which is common.
Hey, Tom, I know there's a lot of features in Plus. Is this one of the native ones that you really like?
Yeah, and there's a lot of stuff in there, like you say. What I tend to use more often is the GoToWebinar integration. Their integration is solid. It's better than I'd say any of the others out there. The split testing feature is cool. You know, some of the other things I think you can find in other places. They're repetitive. You know, here, let me just look at the feature library and just go through it. GoToWebinar integration, like I said, is great. Let's see here. You know, split testing we'll look at now. Split testing pages is actually cool. This is beyond the email functionality. So this is, you know, I want to send people through a web form, and then the thank you page I want to split or make dynamic or things like that. They've got some cool things there. Video triggers is actually cool as well. They have an integration with Wistia. So if you host your videos with Wistia, they can, you can set up some triggers that say, hey, when someone starts a video, tag them with, you know, start a video. When they get halfway through, tag them with, you know, 50% completed. When they get all the way through the video, tag them with completed video, things like that. So then you know how much of a video people have watched, and you can trigger appropriate marketing based on that. So if they don't finish, your follow-up marketing is, hey, I noticed you checked out the video, but you didn't have time to finish it. Here's a link back, whatever. If they did finish it, maybe you go into your promotional offer, whatever that may be. So yeah, lots of cool stuff in here. Let's go into the split test emails. So we talked about doing our tags, right? So we do, this account is actually currently connected to another Infusionsoft account, not the one I was just in. So we'll just pretend that I'm selecting here, you know, tag A and tag B for the trigger tags. And then which tag indicates success. So then this one would be our conversion tag, right? That they actually bought something. And then when do you want to choose a winner? After a certain number of conversions or on a specific date and time? So after a specific number of conversions, I can say, hey, once we've got 100 conversions in there, if one test is winning over the other, let's go ahead and call it the winner and move forward just with that one. Then you give it a name, so we'll just call it a test, add feature, and then here's that URL. So there's that URL. If I just click it, it will copy it to the clipboard, and then I come into here and paste it in there like I mentioned. Okay? So that's plus this. Yes?
Just a quick question. So, and back on the plus this, is there a reporting function similar to like Optimizely or VWO where it will share with you,
yeah,
there's some statistical significance in this test?
Right here is view report. I actually don't know. I don't think it's gonna give you any statistical analysis the way you want. It's just gonna show you the raw numbers. Here's how many sent, here's how many converted, and here's your percent conversion.
Numbers are not necessarily like
yeah,
a big banner that says hooray.
Right.
Okay.
Right. And it'll like we saw, if you choose a winner, after a certain number of conversions, it could be winning by one. It's not gonna judge that on a statistical basis the right way. So there's some limitations here, but I think this is a great tool, if you want to use a tool like this. But let's get into the topic of the day, is like, how do we do this without plus this? And why would we want to do that? And what are the benefits? What are the pros and cons? Pros and cons obviously is cost, and having to use additional tools, and just having to log into another place and all that kind of stuff. I'm one that I'm always trying to just do everything I possibly can in Infusionsoft to keep it centralized, not to worry about where's this thing going. And I'm working with one company right now where they've got like literally thousands and thousands and thousands of legacy action sets that are all tied to everything. So like when you log in and you try and follow a campaign through, it might take an hour or two just to figure out the logic flow, what's going on, and then to try and fix something is a hassle. So we're revamping that whole thing. But yeah, let's talk through this. Before we go into the actual campaign here, let's talk through one bit of functionality that you need to be familiar with to make this work, and that's in the CRM settings area. In CRM settings, there is a functionality called round robins. Okay, round robins are designed and in here for the purpose of being able to assign leads in some kind of random fashion to users. So maybe you've got 3 sales reps and you want to randomly assign the leads to those 3 sales reps. That's what a round robin is for. So before we dig in there, let's just take a look at my users. see what we're dealing with here. So we've got, look at just the active ones. We've got Shazad, Box Out Marketing Team, and then me. And let's just assume Box Out Marketing Team is just one person. And so we've got those 3 people here. I'll add another one just for, we've got, let's call this one Tammy at gmail.com. That's actually gamble.com, but that's okay. We'll make Tammy, hopefully Tammy at gamble.com gets that email. That'd be pretty funny. Actually, you know what, unless she gets that email and clicks it, then she's not gonna be an active user. So let me, shoot, now I gotta like,
You can,
yeah, I gotta inactivate her and what happened here?
I need to delete her now.
You can't delete users anymore. You have to inactivate them.
Yeah, that's what
So I have to do this.
I really just want to clear that.
Yeah, I agree. Actually, I'm not even sure I can inactivate her without. Oh yeah, that's right. On her user profile, the button down here. Cancel invitation. There we go. Okay, so we'll add users, and we'll do Tammy again, but we'll use Tyler at. I don't think Box Out Marketing is in there right now, so that way I can go check it. Signed out here. Okay, there it is. And we'll click that link, get it all set up. All right, that's good enough for now. So back to our round robin now. So we've got the ability to create additional round robins. This is helpful if you want to create a round robin for sales versus customer support. You know, you got a few people in sales, you want to round robin leads, customer support issues come in, you want to round robin those to those users. Or maybe you've got you know, regions of sales reps. You've got 2 people in the Western region and 2 people in the Eastern region, and you round robin those within their regions. Various different reasons for having multiple round robins. So I've got one here for split testing. Let's edit that real quick. Take a look at it. Let's just say that I want to do an A-B split test. So I'm gonna send half the people down one route, half the people down another route. What I'm gonna do is choose 2 of my users, and I'm gonna give them 1 and 1. So this is the question you had, Scott, about the logic, right? Is it truly random, or does it do 1 record per round, whatever? So what this one does is that there's 2 options here, 1 record per round, and that way it's going to go 1 for me, 1 for Tammy, 1 for me, 1 for Tammy. So you can go back and forth that whole thing, right? And I can change the numbers here. So if I do 1 for me, 2 for Tammy, it's going to do 1 for me, 2 for Tammy, 1 for me, 2 for Tammy, right? If I do distribute records based on ratio, then it's going to use these ratios, but it's going to do it in more of a random fashion. So it's just going to say, like, flip a coin. There's a 3-sided coin. 2 of them have Tammy's name on them, and 1 of them has mine, and it'll just do it in that ratio, okay? What I found is that in working with sales reps that are using Infusionsoft, 1 record per round is the best way to do it, because they will watch each other's leads and be like, wait, he got 2 more than me this week and she got 3 less and whatever, and they get all fired up about it. So if you do 1 record per round and you can watch those numbers and ensure that everyone's getting the equal amount, then you keep everyone happy. Okay, so let's say we want to run an A-B split test. I'm just going to do 1 and 1. I want them to be equal. I could split them unevenly if I wanted to, but in this case, I want to do them evenly. So I'm just going to use 2 of the users. It doesn't matter which ones. Okay, so I got me and Tammy that we're going to use. So we'll save that, and that's our round robin called split test. Okay, now let's go into Campaign Builder and look at how we're going to use this. We've got a problem though. Let's just talk through this. Actually, I should probably not show the campaign yet. The suspense, right? We gotta hide it. There's a problem with using the round robin feature for split testing, because what if you are actually assigning the leads out to people? So let's say Tammy and Shazad are my sales reps, and they've got leads assigned to them. And now I'm going to use the round robin to assign users or assign owners randomly. I'm going to potentially reassign those, right? Someone who was assigned to Shazad and he's working them as a lead, now they're going to get assigned to me for split testing purposes. And Tammy might lose people or get people or whatever. It's going to get all mixed up, right? So that's what we're going to look at addressing in this campaign. And like I said, this may be like, you don't need to do split testing right now, or you're brand new to Infusionsoft and you're like, whoa, this is a little bit too much. That's okay, because the process of going through the logic here will teach you a lot about how the campaign builder works. Okay, so here we've got an empty sequence. Okay, it's got nothing in it. Oh, you know what? The example that I put here had three split tests. So let's assume that I had selected Box Out Marketing Team as with a 1 also. So it's now me, Shazad, and Box Out Marketing is what we're gonna. Oh no, sorry. I'm getting ahead of myself. This is actually what we're gonna do here is these are the 3 sales reps. So it's me, Shazad, and Box Out Marketing Team are active users in the system that have contacts assigned to us. Okay, so we're going to add our list of people that we're going to run this promotion to, or whatever test we're going to run. We're going to add them to this empty sequence. And then what we're going to do here, the decision diamond is set to route them based on their current owner. Okay, so we need to document the current owner so that we can switch it to something else for the split test and then switch it back. Okay, so here we're saying if the contact field's owner equals me, then we're going to do something. If it's Shazad, then we're going to do something. If it's Box Out Marketing Team, we're going to do something. Okay, and so those are our 3 current users. They're going to go into these sequences based on their current owner, and they're going to get tagged. So this one, we're going to tag, there's no tag in there, but we're going to tag for my name, tag for Shazad's name, and tag for Box Out Marketing's name. Okay, and then here in the next sequence, we're going to run our round robin. So here we use the snippet under process that is assign an owner. Just drag that out. Double click it, and we're gonna use our split test. So now this is gonna assign to Tammy and myself evenly, okay? So it's gonna take all those people that were assigned to me, Shazad, and Box Out Marketing Team, and it's gonna reassign them. It's gonna mess up all their owners, but it's gonna reassign them randomly and 50-50, which is what we want for our split test, okay? And that's gonna happen inside that sequence. Now we run another decision diamond, and this decision diamond is now gonna run off of their current owner, which has just been updated. Okay, so now we're going to say if their owner is Tyler, and if you remember the round robin that we chose was the split test one that had me and Tammy. So if it's Tyler, then go into this sequence. If it's Tammy, go into the other sequence.
Tyler?
Yeah.
If you left it blank, that means everything else is going to go to the second round. That means if you have names that were not assigned, they go into the lower one. If you left it as blank, it's assigned to Tammy.
Are you saying back here if they didn't have an owner?
That for group B.
Okay, here.
Yeah, that.
This one. Well, no one's going to be unassigned once they get to that decision diamond, because we're putting everyone through this sequence, which is going to assign an owner.
Oh.
It will assign an owner randomly, either me or Tammy, and so no one ends up unassigned after they go through that. They get to this decision diamond. It's going to say, hey, if they're assigned to Tyler, put them in group A. If they're assigned to Tammy, put them back in group B, okay? So now in group A, we're gonna tag them for group A. So we go to process, grab the tag, configure that, select the tag that you want for testing group A. Same thing for group B. And then now we bring everybody back into an empty sequence just to consolidate. And then we have another set of rules. Now we're gonna restore the owners. So we're gonna say, if they had the tags, and remember in the very beginning, the first part, we set up tags for tag for Tyler, tag for Shazad, tag for Box Out Marketing. So here we're gonna say if the tags contains the Tyler tag, and I don't have one set up in this campaign, or in this account, then we would put them into that restore owner to Tyler sequence. If they have the Shazad tag, then they go into that sequence. If they have the Box Out Marketing tag, then they go into that one. And then in these, we use the assign owner again to assign back to the original owner. So here we're gonna assign back to me, and then we're gonna assign back to Shazad, we're gonna assign back to Box Out Marketing. So what we've done in the process is we tag them for their current owner, then we mixed up their owner so that we could split test them and tag them for the split, group A or group B. And then we go back to, hey, what was their tag for their owner? Oh, it was Tyler, or it was Shazad, or it was Box Out Marketing, and then reassign them back to that person. And then we stick them into an MC sequence, and then now we can run our split test. So Scott's like, that's too much trouble. So yeah, it's really not as complicated as I may have made it out to be.
So we could call this a hack, then, right? Just to do it.
Yeah, it's definitely hack. I'd say like 90% of the things I do is a hack, right, Scott? It doesn't do exactly what I wanted to do, so we figure out another way. Right?
So if you didn't have sales reps, could you, what would you eliminate?
Yeah, if you're not,
You're gonna go
great question. If you're not using the owner feature of Infusionsoft, you're not assigning people, maybe you just do everything online, you're not worried about who they're assigned to, then you can ignore a whole bunch of this, right? Basically, you're just gonna run them straight into a round robin. We're gonna assign them to one user or another.
Right.
And you can then, based on their owner, just run them, instead of tagging them, you can run them straight into the test. Yep, exactly.
But it might still be a good idea to do this process anyways, because if your emails, if you're not careful and you haven't hard-coded like the signature and all your emails, and you get assigned to other people, then the emails that you have going out, because when you build an email, it's owner, right? From
Yeah.
Owner. So it's just a good idea to follow that.
That's a really good point. Let's just take a look at that. I have my templates all set up.
Or set up two templates with the same.
Yeah, but yeah, the default looks like this. Owner, first name, owner, last name. And so if you're assigning those and not restoring it back, or you're not editing your templates to not use the owner, then you could potentially run into a problem there. What I would do is that if I were you is instead of like doing the whole split testing process that I just took you through, I would just change your base template so they don't say owner. Just hard code them. Like I just do Tyler Garns, Tyler@boxoutmarketing.com, and hard code it, save your templates that way, and then you're good.
Okay, so.
But it's a good point. You probably want to check default. When you first set up Infusionsoft as well, is in the email body themselves. It's not even opening. I don't know what's going on there. Is to use the owner signature as well. The signature block that goes in there. I think it's set to the default is set to the owner. So you want to check those things. Make sure that you've either address it there in your email templates, or you go through that entire process in the campaign to make sure you restore things back to where they were.
Yeah.
Either way.
An easy fix is just at the beginning of any sequence to have one of the first steps, just reassign the owner to whoever you want it to be. Because it's handy to have the merge thing, because if you hard code it and you want to make a change, you have to go back and manually hard code all of those. A lot of times, sometimes people want to add something to their PS, like include special promotion that's going on. And if you just go to your user record and edit that, all of a sudden, all your emails going out have this PS about some promotion you want to include. Whereas if you've hard coded it, now you have to have someone go into every single email and go through it. So I would still recommend it to go through the process to tell it later. Or just even at the beginning of any campaign, just the first step is assign owner and make sure that owner is like you, the main person. It's just such an easy step. Yeah,
good points. Just want to check our online group here and see what questions we got here. Some people having buffering issues. So yes, there's always replay. We always record these and make them available. There was a suggestion to click the YouTube button and just go watch the live stream on YouTube versus watching it through Webinar Jam, which might solve the problem. I don't think it's going to make much of a difference though, because I think in the back end it runs through all the same technology. Let's see what else is going on here. Yeah, Jonathan's got buffering issues. Chris, I totally agree with you. Chris says webinar is amazing so far. However, the ability to split test should be standard in any marketing automation platform. Yeah, totally agreed. These are the types of things that, longtime users like Scott and Daryl and myself just get frustrated with. You're just like, why is this not in there?
Mobile responsive emails?
Yeah, mobile responsiveness and things like that.
You could break this with like 8 lines of PHP.
Yeah, sure. So, one of the things that I can share along those lines is was it last week? No, 2 weeks ago. I was at Infusionsoft offices. I'm a member of a group they formed called Partner Advisory Group. It's a brand new group. Actually, it's not brand new. They started about a year ago, but it's new in terms of the partner community, and they'll be changing it every year. So every year they'll have different partners be part of this group, the purposes of the group are, there's multiple to, provide feedback from the partner community to Infusionsoft, as well as from the general user base back to Infusionsoft, and then for them to kind of run ideas and things by us before releasing them out. Mainly communication issues, not so much product. We haven't been really privy to a whole lot of product information. But that meeting happened the day before they actually have a conference for partners. It's called PartnerCon. And it's a 3-day conference, and they do lots of teaching, teaching the partners how to be better partners, how to grow their partner business, and all that kind of stuff, which is great. But one of the things they did is they revealed some of the things they're doing with the product here soon. There is progress coming. As frustrating and long anticipated as it's been, I think they've got the right leadership in there now. They're starting to make some of the progress that we've all wanted to see for a long time. My opinion is it can never come fast enough because we've all been waiting for so long. And so I get really anxious and frustrated at times. But, I know the people who are running the show over there. Kyle Levitt is VP of product now, and he's just a solid stand-up guy. I think he's doing the right types of things. It's taken a while to unravel some of the things that have been done in the past and correct some of the product management and development processes that have been put into place that maybe weren't the most efficient. So a lot of reasons why they're at the point where they're at, but I do see the light at the end of the tunnel, so I'm excited about that. Let's see. We got some other questions coming through here. A comment from Teddy. So I'm pretty sure that's Teddy Garcia. Teddy, let us know if it is. And then we can give you kudos for all your awesomeness. But he says, another way I've done this in the past is with an action set that uses conditions. Teddy, that's that's one of the hacks that I put together a long time ago in the legacy system, is doing that exact thing. So basically you determine odd letters and even letters. And then based on their first name, if their first name starts with an odd letter, they go into one sequence. And if they start with an even letter, they go into another sequence. And I was really skeptical when I first set that up. But I ran, this is when I was working at Infusionsoft. We had a very large list. Ran, big list through this process a few times, and it actually came out pretty darn even. I'd say that's fairly random. It's not perfect. You could make a claim that people whose first name starts with the letter F, they all act a certain way or whatever. But I think it's about as random as you can get, without being perfectly random. So we did do that for a long time at Infusionsoft. We ran our own system, using that exact split testing methodology, believe it or not. But I think the campaign builder is just simpler to deal with now. I try, in all circumstances, to avoid action sets at this point. Just do everything in the campaign builder. If you need to use the API, you can do API goals into the campaign builder, which is cleaner than running action sets and things like that.
Why not use action sets?
I just don't like them because it introduces a whole nother area of Infusionsoft that you have to understand and go to find out what's going on. If a campaign triggers an action set, or an action set triggers a campaign, I can't go into the campaign and see all the things that are happening. I have to then go into another place and track it down and figure out what's going on in that action set. And so those of you that are new, just avoid action sets. It's all you need to know right now. Avoid action sets.
We have one with like 30 action sets.
Yeah.
You gotta go action, you gotta look in there.
Yeah.
It's a painful process.
It is a pain. Now, that being said, there are some areas where we still have to use action sets. Yeah, absolutely. They're great functionality for a lot of things.
So many things that we had built before campaign builder even was a thought.
Yeah.
That are based on action sets.
Sure.
Our company runs off them, and to go in and have to rebuild that is just an enormous project.
Yeah.
No, I mean, 8 years ago, action sets were the bomb, right? There was nobody out there that could do anything close to what an action set could do. And still it's pretty amazing technology. It's just hard to track down all the stuff that's going on. And so I, prefer to use campaign builder whenever possible.
But it's so frustrating, like even in my experiences, I just want to set a field to a value, right? You gotta go out.
Yeah, that's a frustrating one. Sure, setting a field to a value. So sure enough, it is Teddy. So hi, Teddy. Good to have you here. All right, another question from Teddy. Is there any way to do a contact search that returns a fixed number of results, such as first 1,000 people out of a list of 5,000? Well, Teddy's an API guy, and he would know for sure that through the API, absolutely, you can tell it how many results you want to get back, and 1,000 is the maximum. Within Infusionsoft itself, in the user interface, no, I don't believe there's any way to do that. Teddy, I'm interested to understand why you want to do that. I'm sure you've got some fancy reason why, and you could share that with us, and then we could all become a lot smarter like you. But yeah, I don't think so in Infusionsoft. There's no way to do that kind of thing. We got another question here. Where in Infusionsoft does it give us the stats on the split test? Okay, good question. So let's get back to, sorry, that's not where we wanted to go. Let's get back to our campaign that we were building here with the test. So split testing. So let's say you set up this whole thing and you wanted to see some stats on it, okay? What I would do is at the end, let's just say that the end goal is for someone to purchase something, right? So we'll turn this into, here, let's just reuse the appropriate icon, even though they all do the same thing. So we're going for an online purchase here. You can do it this way, right? Where that same goal stops either one. The goal is to get them to purchase, that's just fine. What you can also do is use the same goal. So let's configure this. Let's say we want them to buy, this $9.97 upsell, okay? The reason I want to do this because we'll just show newbies some of the tricks. If we want to copy this goal and you're on a Mac, you hold down Control and then you click on it and then you drag it and it will just copy it. And you can open it up and it's already got that configured. Yeah, with the whole sequence, like say the sequence has a bazillion emails in it, I can just hold down Control, click it, and drag it, and it will come over with all the stuff inside there. You have to go turn them all, like mark them all ready, but it's all in there.
Is that only on the Mac? What about
on a PC, I think the sequence of events is slightly different. Anyone know? Control, click, drag. Okay.
But so if you build out the one campaign that you want to test, you can just highlight the whole thing.
Yeah.
Doing one icon.
Yeah. So let's just duplicate this whole thing. I just select everything I want, and then I just Control, click, drag, and just bring everything down. Either I did it wrong or
If you try to
I'm out of like
a decision node, I've had it bomb out like this. I think that's what happened.
oh yeah, because those come from a decision node. I got to come back all the way back here. You're right. That should throw us a little error, but it doesn't. So there we go. Now it'll work. Just brings everything across.
Yeah, so that way when you do split tests, you don't have to recreate.
The first few editions of Campaign Builder didn't have the copy.
Right.
When that came out, I was rejoicing.
Yeah.
Just so that we can talk through this and get everyone up to speed on some of these things. Let's just say you want to copy like 75% of this sequence, or maybe you just want to copy one email out of it. You don't have to copy the whole thing. You can come in here like this, and then within the sequence, I can say copy from campaign and go find that particular sequence, and it'll bring over everything, and then I can kind of edit, delete a couple of emails, and do it at a more granular level. But yeah, copying things in bulk like that is great. So the reason I'm saying bring out the same goal. So functionally, this doesn't do anything different than just having the one goal attached to both sequences. It's the same goal, it's going to be completed, but what'll happen is when you put it in performance view, let me publish this so you can see. When you put it in performance view and come over and look at these, by default, it's just going to show like that, but then if I go historical and I go, last 30 days or so, then I can see the actual number of people. And then I've got some I'm going to say semblance of a number there. I'm not even going to call it a statistic. Reason being is, these numbers are not perfectly aligned with what you think they are. If the same person achieves the same goal twice, they will show up in there twice. So that could be an accidental purchase. Various different things can happen. People can go through sequences more than once if if you've got a looping sequence or things like that. So the number on the sequences are not going to be accurate. So I would always, in a situation like this, after the action, personally, I would go like this. I'd have one goal, just because I like to keep my campaigns clean. Have one goal, and then I have a tag here after they purchase. In here, use a tag for purchase. Call it club purchase, right? And then I'd go set up some saved searches. How many people have split test A tag and also have the club purchase? And that shows me my conversions on that split test. And then another search, show me all the people that have split test B tag and the club purchase tag. And I just set those saved searches up, put them on my dashboard, and then I've got real-time stats that are actually accurate right on my dashboard. Yep.
In the performance review, you had 24 hours and 30 days.
Yep.
Does it ever go longer, or are there any more iterations?
Yes and no. Right here from this view, the answer is no.
Okay.
But we've talked about these Smurfs here. These are the Smurfs, the blue people in the blue circle. You can click on the Smurfs and drill into detail on those people. Okay, so click on there, and it takes you to a search that actually you can get to through the reports. It's a campaign report. And if you hit edit criteria columns, then you'll see what it's doing. So it's going campaign called split testing, sequence called click test A, and then what do I want to get here? Oh, the active people, meaning they have a step still queued in front of them, or queued means they've gotten to the end of the sequence and there's nothing left for them to do. They haven't achieved the next goal. Or done means they've gone all the way through the sequence and they're now on to something else. They no longer exist in that sequence in any form, but they've been through it. So you can select who you're looking for there, and then down here you can do your date range, right? So last 30 days is what it's on now, but if I want to go select any other date range that I want, I can get it and then just see how many people show up in the list.
And in that list still is perfectly inaccurate. So
it's still inaccurate in the sense that it might have some duplicates. Then it is slightly more accurate than the blue number, though, in the sense that if someone goes through your sequence or achieves a goal or whatever and you delete that contact, they'll still show up in the blue number. But once you get down to this campaign search, they won't show up there because there's no record. So that's why I always just use tags for reporting. I just tag them along the way and then go get my tags on my dashboard and see what's going on there. Yeah, Nidal.
What would be awesome, though, is if you could set a date for the tags on your little boxes.
Yeah, that would be.
Because it's always just.
You have a tool.
Yeah.
You have a tool.
Yeah. So Scott,
Scott,
Scott, you should know about this, right? Box out marketing. Okay. So let's just show everybody. So this is actually we should have these things in Infusionsoft. But while I'm pulling this up, Nidal, you had a comment or a question. Can you make a decision based on what product they purchase?
So if I'm doing a campaign and somebody buys a product, hey, I want to kind of take a whole list, shove it into the campaign, and then make a decision which each one gets a different email sequence based on what they bought.
I think you have to have tagged them for the purchases. I don't think it's going to do it based on the purchase data alone, but let's just take a look here. So we can add a rule, contacts. Yeah, you got fields and tags. There's no purchase data. So you would have had to have already tagged them for the purchase, and then you can run it off the tags, but you can't just run it off the raw purchase.
So if you already have them in the system, you gotta do a search per product, tag them, and then create tags for all of them, and then go through all the products.
Yep. Yeah. That's the way you would need to get it going.
Any other easier way to tag them, like one batch?
I
don't think so.
We batched them all together as a whole, and then we segmented our batches.
So if you go to boxoutmarketing.com and scroll down to the bottom, sign up for this free membership, you'll get access to this tool. So I'm just going to log in here. There's a couple of free tools that we give you access to. And then there's other tools that only our Double Your Sales Club members get access to. But I will show you for reporting purposes.
So you don't have a subscription plan or anything for those?
No, not at this point.
Okay.
Keeping it exclusive for the moment.
Okay.
So under tools, you go to your tag by date report. Now, Infusionsoft has made some progress on this. I'll go back to the dashboard inside Infusionsoft and show you a little bit of progress they've made in this direction. But those of you that have been around know this. Those of you that are new probably don't know. Tagging is like everything in Infusionsoft, but one limitation is you can see in a contact record when they got a tag, but you can't do any searching based on like how many people got that tag within a date range. So that's really frustrating.
That tool that you have integrates with
Yeah, it integrates with your Infusionsoft account. So when you log in, it will ask you to put in just your username and password. We don't get your API key because you want to keep that secure. You can deauthorize our app at any time. Here, I'll actually walk you through the process if you want here. What's that?
It's a little off topic, but if you don't mind, yeah.
Yeah, no problem. So what I'll do is go to configuration. Yeah. So when you come in to use our tools, the first thing it's going to do is ask you to connect your Infusionsoft account. So you click that. It takes you over to Infusionsoft actually. This is the way all web apps work these days, right? You go over, you authorize, and then it sends you back. So it's saying, hey, I happen to be logged in right now, and so it's just taking me straight to this. If I weren't logged in, it would have me log in first and then say, do you want to authorize this or not? And so I'll say, yeah, allow it, access. And then it comes back and says, hey, I've successfully connected. I'll go to my tag by date report. And so what I do here is I just enter in date range. I'm going to back this out a bunch because I'm now connected to a test app which doesn't have a ton of data in it. And I'll just choose like this particular. Actually, that might be too much. So again, for those of you that are new, inside of Infusionsoft, if you're using date fields like this, there's always a little date picker and you can go choose the date. But in Infusionsoft, there's hotkeys. So like you just click inside the field and hit T for today and go jump straight to today. You can go, H goes back a month because H is the last letter in the word month. M goes, hey, there's actually good logic behind this. M goes forward a month because M is the first letter of the word month. So there's all kinds of things there. So T, and then I'll back up a few months, and then I'll hit run report. Now this particular tag in this particular account, yeah, see, it's got 0 results, but it'll show you the total results, and it'll show you a graph over time, how many people got that tag. So it's a simple little tool, really helpful. And, Tom uses it like every week for his reporting, weekly reporting on everything, and it's great. So back in Infusionsoft, though, I'll show you what they've added recently that gets us a little closer to that idea. So we'll do add widgets, and they've got, where is it? It might actually be, oh yeah, this one, the contacts widget. So on here, you can filter by a tag. So let's say I want to use that same tag, click the email 1. And then I can say 30 days, 90 days, or a year. So it's limited to a certain extent. But I can say, hey, how many people got in that tag in the last 30 days? So it's
not date specific, right?
It's not, you can't do a date range. No, you can't do specific dates. It's just 30, 60, 90, a year.
Right.
Yeah. We get like to the 1 yard line. Yeah.
You can do all this other stuff.
I know. I'm with you.
Well, we start charging for your tools because it's
Yeah.
that's good. I think yours.
Okay, let's see what else we got here.
Exactly, it's a super creative hack.
Jared, is that Jared Morris? I think so. Hey, Jared, what's up? And then David, I think that's probably David Bullock, who's normally here. Oh, really? Ah, shoot. David, we miss you. We're not going to save you a breakfast burrito, though. Those are just for us. So, Well, cool. Look, that's really what I had prepared for today. Happy to just like open up conversation. I can go another 45 minutes and then I'm have to wrap up. I've got some other things I got to get to right at 11 o'clock. Yeah, time is yours for those of you that are online. If you want to submit some questions, or those of us that are here, go for it.
Just on the split testing topic, so we've used plus this, and we've also we have optimized it as well, which we use for some of our web pages. And I'm familiar with BWO. Are there other split testing platforms out there that you're familiar with? You think work well, or just like your overall opinion on it? Those are the only kind of 3 that I know about that we use.
Yeah. So there's a few different things we're talking about here, right? One is split testing within Infusionsoft. One is split testing outside of Infusionsoft. So Optimizely would certainly help you with split test your web pages or things like that. What we talked about plus this or this little hack help you split test within Infusionsoft. Sometimes you have to try and coordinate those, right? If you're split testing a page and then you end up with like 2 forms, you gotta make sure you tag them separately and keep them down separate tracks. Or if you want to merge tracks or whatever, you gotta figure out what your strategy is there once you get them into Infusionsoft. But yeah, I mean, I think Optimizely it's definitely got some great features. Personally, I think for 99% of small business owners, it's not worth the money. You can go into Google and do split testing through Google Analytics.
Mm-hmm.
They used to have a Google website optimized, and now they just moved it right into Google Experiments within Google Analytics. That really gives you all the functionality that your average small business is going to need. If you got a lot of traffic and you're running some really sophisticated tests, Optimize is a good option.
Sure.
But I just think for most people,
how much is
$3.99 a month. Right?
Yeah, it depends on how it's all based on the visitors and users.
Yeah, if you need more, that's like the baseline. I think like $3.99 a month.
Yeah.
If you need more,
no, ours is like $79 a month, but we have like
the
most limited bare bones one you can use. The next step up is like $3.99, and then you can pay. It's ridiculous.
Sure.
Yeah. That's what I was gonna ask. So when you say if you're driving a lot of traffic, what is that number like specifically? What's like a lot of traffic? It's kind of relative, but.
I just say things sometimes. Really, it probably has less to do with the traffic and more to do with how sophisticated you're getting with your test, and if you're actually going to take action on the test. I see a lot of people like, "Ooh, I'm going to get into split testing and set up a split test," and then really they do the wrong test. Is the thing that people do the most often, right? They're like, "Okay, I got this landing page. Let's try a red button versus a green button." And then you see this stuff all the time. It's like those are like micro adjustments you should be making. Like I always say, like if you're going to split test, take your landing page, destroy it, and just do a whole nother version. Different copy, different design, just start over completely. Test those things drastically different against each other and see if you can get a big bump. If you can, now take the one that won and mess with that a whole bunch and see if you can get another bump. And then you just start narrowing down to some of those micro adjustments. But again, that's where traffic becomes a bigger issue. Mm-hmm. Because if you got high volume, those micro adjustments might mean a lot of money to you.
Yeah.
For most people, you're dealing with the law of diminishing returns. The more and more I spend on this, I might get 0.5% increase or a 1% increase. But could I go get a 10% increase by just blowing it up and starting a whole other thing again and seeing what I get?
Right.
I think that's where most people are going to get big gains. And all?
Different subject.
Yeah.
What do you recommend for a dialer?
For what?
Dialer.
A dialer. I would recommend for most people to use Fix Your Funnels Auto Dialer. They've got an auto dialing feature now that's pretty cool.
Does it record the conversation?
You know what? I think it does.
Yes.
I think it does. Yeah, you know for sure it does?
Yeah.
How much is it?
I don't care.
I love this guy. I don't care. Whatever it costs is worth it.
Right.
Let's pull it up here.
I know it has a price.
It has a price and it's less than what it's making. So
It could be.
who cares? So Call monitoring. Shoot, I don't know. This thing's confusing.
Go to the down, yeah, including credits over to the right.
Okay.
Click that. Okay, go to, no, sorry. Go, they had it differently before.
This is brand new.
Yeah, they just totally messed something up. It was easy.
Yes.
I'm like, it was so easier before.
Speed dialer for Infusionsoft.
Maybe they separated it out.
It looks like they separated it, yeah.
Yeah, okay, because it's good.
The ultimate
It's only
multimedia.
available to subscribe to Ultimate Multimedia.
The cool thing about the way they do it is that, well, what I like about it is that it works on inbound as well as outbound calls. So,
Oh.
and so if you have marketing, say on your website, or you send out a flyer, someone calls in, it's actually going to track that numbers in your database. Not only does it not only does it make that recording and store it on the picture funnel service so you can go back and get them, but it actually tags that that recording to that contact record. You can actually just go to that contact record as well and see that they called in and listened to, again, both sides of the conversation. So it's definitely something in my world that is very, very helpful, but I like it a lot.
So how do they do that? They assign a unique number?
I don't care how. How is for the smart people? Let me do that. I'm just telling you how. This is how we use it, and it helps us. The other way we use this that helps me a ton is we actually set up a testimonial line. So you just literally call a phone number, hit option 3, and then anybody at any time can just call in a testimonial, and it's that simple. And we've got more testimonials. I know what to do with, and that's
Great idea.
serious, but that works very well.
Cool. So it's $124 a month, and I'm sure there's some nominal fee per call or per minute or something like that.
Yeah.
So this one here, you don't have to go to the third party telecom, it's all inclusive, all in one.
Yeah, and in fact, their number will forward to whatever number you want it to forward to and still record. That's what I love. That's how we use it. We actually, my 800 number, or one, I forget which number, one of my numbers forwards to this number and it records it. And because then it'll forward to our standard phone tree, and I don't have to change our voice messaging system or anything. And the recording is still there, so it's pretty cool.
It's awesome. Good stuff.
So does it depend on your internet or?
Oh, my what?
Does it depend on your, how fast is your internet service, or just, it goes through the regular phone lines, it doesn't?
Correct. Yeah, and that's the thing I like about it is that we use the same number for our text message, right? So if I say text to or call to, it's the same phone number.
Yeah.
So our messaging is the same, the number is the same. You could call it right now, you hear the same voicemail message.
That's for inbound.
Either way.
So if you want to do an outbound, you go to
Oh, right.
Infusionsoft and you do a search, you come up with a list. Then you go through the list and automatically go through them?
People who call inbound?
No, your sales guy doing outbound calls.
Yes. You create a safe search, or I forgot the exact, because I did it and now I forgot about it. And you just literally pick up the safe search and you can just go straight through and keep dialing all the way through.
And you're inside Infusionsoft or you're in their website?
When I'm dialing out, I'm in their website.
Oh, from their website.
When I'm dialing out, I'm in their website.
Oh.
And then with the incoming calls coming in, then it saves it as a sound file.
Yes.
In their record.
Correct.
That is very.
Yeah, I liked it a lot.
It would be nice if we do a session on something like this. I mean, really, if you can get us.
Cool. Yeah, we did that about a year ago. We did like a third-party tools session. We just went through a whole bunch of tools and.
Very beneficial, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
I have a short testimony for Fix Your Funnel. We use them extensively for SMS texting
Mhm.
and also greeting card automation. We use Zendirect where you can use send out cards to either one. Fantastic integration, so easy to interface into Infusionsoft.
So you use it for the, you said Zen cards or
Zen
for the direct mail?
Oh, yeah.
I thought about that.
It's struck with hundreds of cards a month. We
Really?
Yeah, really, it's just nice follow-up, nice nurturing, yeah.
And gifts and all of that stuff. And they have a really nice dashboard and
Yeah,
it's really
simple.
trackable.
You guess through.
Yeah, through Zendirect.
Okay.
Yeah, because Zendirect has like a catalog of stuff you can send. It doesn't have to be just a card.
Right,
Right.
okay. And same of course is too, but you can,
Pens or
I like the interface
flowers.
for Zendirect.
Yeah, we like the interface, but also the
Zen-
cost is a
Zen
lot less.
Direct.
A a lot.
What lessons in that part?
Way.
Really?
Yeah, it's only a bucket card.
Is it hard as that part? Or
You
just
could,
if it's-
I don't know.
Thanks.
Sure. I think Sam Direct is the present print and some other.
And it's white label.
So for the online audience, I'm curious to know what the audio's like with everybody talking in this room. Is it clear? Can you hear people that are far across the room? I'm just curious because we've never really asked, and we've been doing this. We've been doing I never go back and watch our own replays. It might be terrible. Who knows?
Well, that gives them an incentive to be here.
Yeah, show up live from all over the world. Right? We've got, how many do we have today? 32 online now. We've had as many as like 130 online. So yeah.
Now, what are you really excited about right now? That's working, that you're using with your clients? Is there anything that's really kind of turning your cranky phase?
That's a great question. Always looking for that thing. It certainly is. It's certainly getting harder and harder, right? I mean, just with the proliferation of marketing automation tools and email tools, and just the use of those things becoming more and more prevalent among small businesses. Email is a totally different thing than it used to be. I mean, you used to be able to just email people out, get a response like that, no problem. And it's I feel like it's a battle now every day. Just getting the right. It was a pretty easy battle to win a few years ago. If you could write good copy, you could sell a whole lot of stuff pretty easily. And now it's like I feel like copy more and more. It's just like it's got to be exceptional. I find myself with my clients, and we talked about this in this group, but really using the pattern interrupt process a lot with emails. So sending branded emails and then sending not just the HTML that look plain text, but like true plain text emails, and just totally mixing it up back and forth between those things. I see it getting a lot of response from plain text emails. Just like true plain text emails. So you can't do it in a campaign builder. You have to go out and use the original templates because campaign builder doesn't let you use like purely plain text.
Right.
It's a little bit frustrating. Right.
Tyler, we're finding just from marketing for getting all the technology is that when we understand our avatar and what their true problem is and pain and the words, and that's where 90% of our work is. I mean, this implementation stuff is getting easier and easier, and will at some point become a commodity. It'll be just so easy.
Yeah, that's one of the things that in the Infusionsoft world, anyways. I've really focused on with my clients is the whole foundation of the marketing, right? And I spend a lot of time doing research with my clients on the target market and the messaging and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, you have to build upon that foundation. You hop into Infusionsoft and expect it to do miracles for you. I would say 7 years ago, there's a real good chance that just by implementing it and just following up well, you did really, really well with Infusionsoft. But I think the follow-up now, the automated follow-up, just keeps you on par with everybody else because everybody's got something, some way of following up these days.
Because people know that stuff. They know the send out cards. They know these things. They're just becoming blah.
Yeah. So you're right. I think really dialing in your target market, really understanding the right message to get in front of them is obviously key, and continuing to work on that because it changes and your message goes stale after a while, and you gotta refresh it. And
It's how do you consider to be a solid open rate for email?
So what do you have?
Do you use that as a metric?
I use it as a metric, as a relative metric. So I always tell people 10% open rate might be terrible for you and it might be great for someone else. And 20% might be good for some people, bad for others. And it's all relative. So what I do is just ignore what everyone else tells you about open rates. Look into your own account and look at your last 10 broadcasts, and look at how you're doing. So if you're averaging 15% and also you got one that was 20, what the heck did you do there? Figure it out and try and replicate that, learn from it. You had one that dipped down to 10 or 5, what happened there? What did we learn from it? Use it as a relative metric. I mean, we talk about why, let me just, for people that are new to this, explain why. Open rates are calculated upon a 1 pixel image being inserted into your email. And then therefore, when someone opens that email, that image has to load for the server to then know that that image was loaded and that person opened the email. But a lot of email clients these days don't load images by default. So Gmail will block images by default. Outlook, depending on your settings, will often block images by default. And if you have particularly something that looks plain text, there's no reason for someone to hit the button that says show images. And so therefore, they're going to open that email, and it's not going to register as an open in Infusionsoft. And so the number is not perfectly accurate, but as a relative number on your list, and you're comparing to your own list alone, you can tell, am I doing better or am I doing worse? Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just saying that, because it really depends. If you onboard, if you're running a campaign and you're adding 200-300 people per day or something like that, or even per week, but there's a huge group of those people from Gmail or one of these clients that does it, like it just skews your results.
Yeah, your audience is going to skew that a lot. If your audience is all like corporate people working out of an office and they all use Outlook or whatever, it's going to look very different than if your audience is mostly Gmail.
Right.
I don't even use it anymore. I completely ignore it.
Yeah.
I want click through, and what do they do on my landing page? Do they watch my video all the way? How much time do they spend? I mean, those are things we really, how engaged they are with your content. Like I know if I send them to a 5-minute video and it's whiskey and we track it back and they watch all 5 minutes, I'm like, okay, we've got something.
I would use it as a metric that I'm looking at because it is at the, when you look at your marketing processes, I think of it as upside down funnel, it's at the top. In terms of like if you're sending out an email promotion or something like that, it's at the top of that chain of events. And so if you can go from, if all other conversion metrics stay the same, you go from 10% open rate to 20% open rate, and relative clicks stay the same, and relative everything else stays the same, then you just doubled your.
Yeah, but I can't make that assumption. If I could make that, I think that'd be valid, but I can't make that assumption now.
I think you can make that assumption all day long. The more people that open it, therefore the more people are going to click it, the more people are going to do all the other.
No, I'm saying I don't trust the metric of the open rate is what I'm saying.
Yeah, not the exact metric, but if you look at it on a management level.
But I'm saying I don't even trust that.
God just has trust issues. That's all that it is here.
What that assumes is that everybody's opening on the exact same browser, that one time they open the desktop, the other day open on their mobile device. I don't think those are fair assumptions.
Yeah, it just depends how fast your list is going, because then it goes back to, again, how many people are you onboarding and where, like.
Even if you have a static list, it's still the same thing.
No.
I have noticed that if you use direct mail and an email, the performance is way better.
For sure.
And I'm noticing now more that when we do postcards and mailing, people pay attention more. It's like their inbox is not as crowded, and that's the road less traveled. People are not spending money on the mail, so the direct mail is really ultra important. I see it, and if you send them on an email or something, combination of the two, it's much more effective than just sending an email.
Yeah, I was called leading the witness. I think that's a tactic that forever will be worthwhile. So when if I'm going to send a direct mail piece, I always send an email saying, hey, keep an eye out. You're in your physical mailbox. This is coming. And if I'm sending a direct mail piece, I'm always going to reference an email that I sent before they should have received it. So you say, hey, they open up their letter or whatever. Hey, check your email. I'm saying this really cool thing. Make sure you go check it out or whatever. And have those things reference each other and just always lead to the next thing. Whatever communications they're sending out, if it's not the final thing, thanks for purchasing, it should always be leading them to the next step of whatever action you want them to take.
And as for this group, I'm gonna give you guys an offer, which is I won't give it, and I'm not making money on this anymore.
Should we turn off the webcam?
Just for the people attend here. If you have a mailing list, if you send it to me, I can run it for you with the U.S. Postal Service, and I can flag it for you with the non-deliverable. If somebody is dead, somebody has moved, the building is vacant, and if they have a new forwarding address, I'll get you the new address, and all that I'll do it for free. Whatever list you have, 10,000, 20,000, whatever it is, I'll process for free. Wow. So that's for this group here. So if you want to, before you mail something, make sure you just run it through the USPS. We call it the case and pay, which is we update the mailing addresses, and we can go back as far as 48 months.
Wow. Yeah, so if you guys aren't familiar with what Nadal does, you should become familiar with it. Nadal has a massive printing shop in Irvine.
Yeah.
I've been there, but, you know.
Irvine.
Who knows where I was? So it's Irvine, and they've got machines to do pretty much anything, right? You guys can do all kinds of custom stuff, you know, die cutting and folding and packaging and just like anything. And they run all kinds of direct mail stuff. And if you were at InfusionCon and you saw like the big red ticket that we put in the welcome bags, they printed those and created a custom die cut for those. It was really cool. So I would definitely recommend, and plus they did it super fast, really high quality. So any of those types of things you guys need, but $2 your man.
I have a question.
Yeah, question.
So some of the things that, well, it's been a while since I've been here. You blew my mind the first time. It took me a while to catch my back. But now I think I'm ready. So, just getting the process going of how to take a person, and I'm just trying to get an idea of doing we're doing a free plus shipping offer, which seems to be well received. And the thought process, which is my book, the thought process is to, after that, to put a upsell for the ebook and the audiobook, which hopefully then makes that whole thing profitable or at least break even.
2 separate steps, ebook first and audiobook, or together? Bundle?
Together.
Okay.
Together bundle. And then I'm trying to figure out how to, what is typical from a price point standpoint. My biggest challenge right now in this is we go from, if you take my book, it's $24.99, then you put the ebook and all that other stuff, whatever. We go from that to $497.
Yeah.
I'm like, how do I take cold traffic from $25 to $500? Now we're doing decent at it, but the point is, I need some smaller stuff, and I'm looking for, I'm looking for a way to make that work well. And on the technology side, we're looking at Samcart to help us do that because it's in my technology range.
Sure.
Yeah, it's very simple, like the plus this thing.
Yeah.
I mean, I like what you showed in Infusionsoft, but I'm like, I'll just pay money and use plus this.
Sure.
That's really what went through my head.
Yeah.
So and I'm just looking for either advice on the one-click upsell part as well as what that could be after that.
So on the technology side, Fixture Funnel has a great one-click upsell solution.
Which required me to install stuff on server stuff.
It doesn't anymore.
Okay,
it used to be like,
now you're talking.
Yeah, it used to be buy you used to be buying the script for like $7.95 or something like that. Install it.
Yeah, and that's
now it's all hosted. They host it, and you just log in and configure it, and it's easy.
And
anyone use it?
Do I have to create new products in my Infusionsoft account?
No, it's connected to your Infusionsoft. So whatever products you already have,
and I don't need a separate.
You say, yeah, I want to sell this one, whatever. You just like really easy, click and choose whatever your options
the same merchant accounts.
Yeah, everything. And then it'll just it runs it all through Infusionsoft.
I'm good. That's what I needed to hear.
Yeah. All it does is basically like you select the configuration of what you want to sell. You know, I want to sell this product at this price, whatever, and then it spits out like a button and a link, and you just take those and stick it on your website. So then when they get to the thank you page where you're doing the upsell, people see that button, and then the link is optional, right? So if you want to say buy now or add this to your cart or whatever, they click it, and then the link would be if the no option. Nothing's on pass. But then that can take them to another like downsell.
Correct. And so and with that, with what you just said, then in theory I could use, again, I'm just trying to use all the tools that I can. I can use my lead pages to create the page and use that link for the
Not with lead pages.
Why?
Because lead pages is not flexible at all.
They have the export to HTML, but I can go straight into WordPress.
You can do it that way.
Okay.
Well, wait, their lead pages has a WordPress plugin where you can use that. You can't do it that way. You have to export HTML files, have those edited, and then upload to the server. That'll work.
Got it.
That'll work.
Can I address your point? Because we have a client that we're working on the same thing. Because he's got on the low end, he's got a book he sells for $15, and on his high end, he does anywhere from $15,000 to $25,000 keynote speeches. And he's like, I need something in the middle and everything. So we're working on trying to figure that out. So I mean, this is not a technology problem. It's a
there's two things.
Yeah.
There's two things in the middle, and depending on which product they're coming to us for. I mean, some people are coming to us for my entry $497 is how to do buy and sell real estate using no money, no credit. That's that person. Yeah. I know them. I know them well.
That's the $500.
That's the $500 person. If they got no money, and we have a webinar that converts very, very well, provided we have the right payment plan.
Gotcha.
That's fine once we get to $497.
Yeah.
Right now, what I'm doing is we just started paid media for the first time ever, and that's called a learning curve. And
It'll be a costly learning curve too.
It'll be worth it in the end.
Yeah. Exactly.
And that's what I'm trying to figure out. How do I take that cold person from, because they're taking the $7.99 free plus shipping offer all day long, which I like. I like the fact, because I know 3 weeks after they get my book, they come back for something. That's what we've seen over and over and over again. So I just want to see the book.
You know,
but I need that to be break even or positive.
I had a customer doing exactly the same thing you were doing, and what he did,
Yes.
to that middle point,
Yes.
I was building for him a kit in a box.
Yes.
Basically, what he called it is a classroom in a box or workbook in a box.
Okay.
So what he did is he took the workbook, he did a video,
Yes.
and calculated, literally, he actually bought calculators and pens and the whole thing. You open up everything that you need for that workbook, for that, like a class, in the box, and he sold it for, I think, $149. And his cost was about $30, hard cost. So the only thing he did, he put the form, he sent me a spreadsheet, I assembled the stuff and print the letter and shove it in the box, ship it to UPS to the guy, and he did pretty good with it. So he went from a book into a classroom, which is, he puts a video and step-by-step procedure, and the guy had the notebook, had the book and the notebook, and it's like you have a lab book, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
So he made it look big intentionally. So he got the 149, and he did pretty good actually.
I wouldn't build anything. I'd just go sell it first at different price points, and then let the market tell you what product it wants.
Yeah.
That takes way too much time to do.
Like about $100 price point for your interim product would bridge that for you. So you get the 3 plus 75, then you get the $500 one. And so if you put $100 price point in there, that
I got that. What is it?
Right, so.
That's my problem.
Here's a great idea then, put a survey with 3 questions on it. What's your biggest problem about X? How difficult has it been to find help on this? Very difficult, somewhat difficult, not difficult. And then what would solving this problem mean to you? Just a 3-question survey where you want to put an upsell. And then once you collect enough data, people will tell you.
Well,
and it gives you the copy to sell it.
They'll tell you what they want.
And you can just put together like a few hours of videos in bite-sized chunks.
No problem with that.
You know,
Yeah, you could do a webinar just.
like I have a client that sells a $100 product, and it's he's got 34-minute videos, and he runs them for a month, and we just sell those. And so it's about 4 hours of video split split over a month, but you can take.
You just actually answered my question. I already have. I know exactly what I can.
Yeah. So they buy the book, and then you know what you're selling in the $500 for. And then you know, okay, if I'm sitting with somebody, they don't have the money, what would they pay me for it, to get there? So I'm going to give them some information to wet their whistle, and then and to really like build up the anticipation like for this thing.
Got it.
Gotta get my burritos.
Yeah.
It's all about the burritos, man, I'm telling you.
You're all about it,
Like,
man.
man, I had to shake.
I know, cancellation.
What do I do for breakfast now?
Well, reason we're here.
I just walked around for a couple hours aimlessly around here, last month. I felt lost.
Alright, I don't think we have any other questions online right now.
I have a question,
Yeah.
just kind of a basic one. When you make your site into a mobile site, is there any issues with Infusionsoft?
What's the question again?
If we're right in the process of making a mobile, button to make our site mobile friendly or whatever it's called. Is there gonna be any problems with my form that's on,
No,
that-
as long as whoever is doing the development for the mobile site, understands how to control that, you're fine. The form itself, the standard HTML, it's not gonna be a problem. Where you potentially run into problems is Infusionsoft doesn't currently offer mobile responsive emails. So they fill out the form, they get an email from you on their phone.
They gotta scroll left and right.
Yeah, sometimes it's a little weird. So what I would do, if you feel like a lot of your people are gonna be on mobile phones, change the width of the email to 320 pixels. And
to have installed it pretty much,
that
make
makes
it better?
Yeah.
It's actually a good idea, just readability studies to have narrow margin in your emails anyways, and not have these wide things, because that's why newspaper columns are so, like the New York Times, they've done tons of readability tests, and that's why they're that narrow. So, and also I saw Mitchell, they put custom code, they make their emails mobile responsive. They put custom code in the campaign builder email, so when you look at it, it's just a bunch of like code, but it's because
Yeah, you can use a code builder if you have someone who does HTML and you put your own HTML emails in there.
Hey, speaking of mobile, I had an interesting, like, I don't know, bug problem the other day, is that I built it for a mobile device, the website shows up fine actually, and we were using image icons, we were gonna make it kind of cool, the website. But what happened is when it was on an iPhone 6, and it went to one bar, the images in the menu didn't get rendered. I've never seen anything like that. You guys heard anything about that? So there's so many freaky things. So I was just thinking, is there anything that can go wrong? And I'm like, here's a whole bunch of stuff. And you'll never even know until you get a weird case, you know.
Again, trust issues. You don't trust the internet, you don't trust the iPhone 6. You don't trust anything.
It's not a good trick.
You're having icons for like a phone to push the.
Oh, no, just across the top of the website, we just had, we built a menu, and just with CS3, we just used image icons, but they rendered perfectly on every device, except on an iPhone 6, when it only had one bar signal strength. Apparently inside that browser decided I'm not gonna follow those images.
There's only one bar, yeah.
Do you know about that?
So you got one bar, and then you move it where you get 2 bars, and it fixes itself?
Exactly, and all the other images showed it was just those in the menu.
That's weird.
Yeah, it could be the file size of the images. Usually when your phone says like 2 bars, really you have like, you know, it's not.
Yeah, it just was.
And maybe the style sheet didn't load all the way, because not enough bandwidth.
Well, no, all the other images loaded up fine now, everything else except for those guys, so it's just a.
So they changed it to just $59 a month, is that what you're telling me?
It's free.
The one-click upsell? Or
Yeah, something like that,
Okay,
yeah.
got it, I'm just reading it right now.
I'll go away and then those guys are getting smart.
Tyler, did you see me drop it all using one
Still
click
might want to
upsell
use
versus like
that.
taking it to like another
Yeah, like I
check
got
creation?
products and I have to use a different.
Oh, yeah, you'll get way better response from one click upsell versus
And people don't freak out over, well, my card got charged, I didn't know, I thought I was just clicking the button for fun, and like.
No, you just gotta make sure the wording is right, like, the way you position it is like, add it to my order, you know, type of thing, so they know, like, hey, it's added to my order, it's happening. Good. So, yeah, as long as the verbiage is right, you're fine. You still get people though that were like, you know, they'll email you back, oh, I didn't mean to purchase it, you get that all the time.
Right.
I'd rather deal with that than not enough sales.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you just reply them right then, you're like, sorry.
Okay.
So Randy online is saying, we have issues with mobile formatting and our emails are struggling with making sure the emails come out clean without weird breaks and one-word lines. Any advice? Nope. I don't know if anybody else has any.
Just what you said with the pixels, pixel width and then.
Yeah, so Randy, change the width to 320 pixels, which is the number of pixels. Actually, iPhones have way more pixels than that now, but it's like the standard version.
Where do you do that?
Inside the campaign builder.
Yeah, I'll show you to see if that fixes my brain.
Yeah.
So when
Where
you,
you go is important.
when you're in there, it's on the right where the snippets, and then you go layout and style, so you're inside campaign builder, and then there's one of them, yeah, I'll show you. I've been using 400 as the default, whatever.
There's so many different.
Yeah,
Yeah.
450.
It's back like in the old.
But 320, that's
Yeah.
because that's mobile.
So you just layout and email width, 320 right there. And then I just like give it a sidebar off. And you like that now. You know, you gotta know your audience, right? So if you know that a lot of your people are viewing it on a computer or a desktop, you know, it's gonna look like this. It's a really skinny column, it might look a little weird, but on a phone, it'll look great. And I still make the fonts bigger, you know, like the default fonts. I always make them like 12 point.
Oh, yeah.
I'm starting to like 18 point font. For my personal reading. My arms are starting to like it.
Sounds like a personal issue.
Do you have any, when you talk about pattern interrupt using branded with plain text? I almost always try to persuade people to avoid branded emails and just simulate plain text. How do you feel about that?
My general rule of thumb is when they're expecting an automated email, I use something a little more branded. logo, little header, and I'll still write the copy in more of a personal way. But like confirmation emails when they fill out a form, because they're expecting it, they know it's automated. So I want to train them that that email is automated.
Right.
And then when they get my plain text email, they believe that it's not automated. So I do that on purpose to train them so that when they get the plain text one, they're like, oh, he actually sent me a personal email.
Yeah. You know, you want to screw with them, but down the bottom, sent from my iPhone.
Yeah,
It's like, oh, so bad.
yeah, and then you can turn the unsubscribe font white.
Yeah, so those things are gonna get into trouble, not just with Infusionsoft, but with spam filters.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of spam filters will pick up a link that's the same color as the background color,
Yeah, you don't want to do that.
and they'll deem it for spam.
So that's bad. What's the contrast?
Hey, Tyler, back to basics, blocking and tackling question. With tags, like say you've got product A, B, and C.
Yep.
Right, and then you're interested in people who are, well, you want to know people who are interested, people who are prospects, and people who buy. How would you set up like tag category? Do you set up do you go interest category, product A, B, C, product category, ABC, customer, ABC, or do you go like product A, interest, prospect, customer?
Whatever makes most sense.
Doesn't matter.
No, I don't think so. And I think for reporting and for you, for your own knowledge, I don't think it matters. Whatever makes most sense to you. For that same type of idea, though, truthfully, I've been using more and more the lead scoring functionality in Infusionsoft.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
And it's cool for activity, but like if you're familiar with traditional CRMs that do lead scoring, they almost always have two measures. They have like an intrinsic lead score and an extrinsic lead score. Intrinsic lead score is how do we score them based on the qualifications as a lead. So if I'm looking for homeowners who have $100,000 income and whatever the measures are that I want that defines as a good lead,
Sure.
That would be intrinsic score.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the systems use a letter grade for those.
Okay.
A is the best score, down to whatever. And then extrinsic would be there based on the behaviors. And of course you ratchet that up as they do more and more behaviors. But Infusionsoft doesn't allow, it allows you to measure both of those things if you're collecting the data on the intrinsic data, but you can't separate the scores. It all goes into one score, which is a little bit frustrating. So then you have to determine like, how do I want to weight them,
Right.
Do I want more weight towards the intrinsic factors versus the extrinsic factors? And then is that weighting that I've defined in my mind even valid? Because if they only do, behavioral stuff and I don't have the other data, then it's 100% weighted towards that, even though I had in my mind defined it as something differently. So it's a little bit weird, but I do find it to be very helpful, and particularly if you have sales teams working leads, to have them focus on hot leads, instead of spinning their wheels, chasing down random people.
Tyler,
Mm-hmm.
what would be the easiest way to create landing pages that you can take the HTML code and put it on your website, like just HTML code? I don't want to be tied up to a service where I'm paying monthly in it. I mean, I want to make, 10, 20, 30 pages and just put them on my website, just go in, edit them, get the templates, and put on my website and have them, the same template. One is mobile, one is Google allows you for PPC. Google allows you to have a PPC landing page different than the regular page.
Great question. In the last couple of years,
After the burrito.
in the last couple of years, these tools like lead pages have become very, very popular. And maybe for the same reasons as Daryl, I just don't like them. There's too many restrictions. Every time they change something, they break the lead source tracking that is extremely important to me. And so what I think is a cheaper solution and a much better solution is use WordPress for your main site, hire a developer, find them on Odesk, whatever, to create landing page templates for you that are built into your WordPress. So if you go into your WordPress and you create a new page, there's different page templates. There's usually like a blog,
well, blog posts, but usually like an about us type page, there's a, you know, a home page type, there's all these different page types. Have them create page types that are specifically the landing page designs that you want. And have them create it so that there's a block of text, they use custom fields in WordPress, where you just dump in the raw HTML code for your forms, and then it will style it correctly in the area that you want. So let me actually just, I'll show you an example of this, because
Cool.
I've had our developer do this.
Optimized Press has a really nice interface now too.
They do, but Optimized Press just, it's slow to load.
Yeah.
Oh, it hasn't been for me. And something just off the subject, really, I love it too. Off the subject real quick, we have had extra books in our library. So, and if you guys need a quick Christmas gift to give to somebody or whatever, grab whatever book floats your boat.
Some beauties.
And, they're all new.
I mean, the thing is what he mentioned the speed. What most people don't know that the quality score with Google, they will pinch you severely on the clicks for your speed. I mean, half a second makes it a day and night difference in the price of the click. So speed of loading it is ultra important. I have HTML pages on my website and they rank #1 on a lot of different keywords because they load fast. I really made them pure HTML code and CSS. It's very, very small code and they load quickly. So speed is important. And then if you're gonna put them in a WordPress, wouldn't that, get punished for that speed?
Not necessarily. WordPress in and of itself is not necessarily slow. It's just when you start adding a bunch of plugins, which most of us do, to create different functionality, there's plugins that will slow things down. So that's why I say just get someone to create a page where you don't use plugins and whatever. But look, let me just show you an example here. So I was creating a test, and my I got all these different landing page templates here. So the one, you know, if you've been to our ROI tracker page, I can select that that page and just pull that one up so you can see what it looks like.
So you're suggesting not using the card that comes with Infusionsoft? Most people are using, you're using WordPress? Like we're using ZenCard, which.
Well, the cart is separate than the website. So for e-commerce, yeah, I'm fine with the cart or the order or whatever. But landing pages, where I'm just going to drive traffic, capture emails, and put it in a follow-up, I'm going to do something like this. So this is a page template where I'll show you. I can put in. So main body copy. I'll just gonna ignore that. Main body copy goes here, and when I put stuff in there, it all ends up down here. Down here in the custom fields area. Let's see. I think since I'm logged out or something, it's not showing up. Okay, down here you see headline text. Whatever I put in there, that headline text shows up right here. Yeah. The Infusionsoft form ID. Now I've worked this out with my developer where I know in these types of pages I'm only ever going to be asking for first name and email. I have other pages where I ask for other information, but these ones, it's always the same thing. So all I need to do is generate the form in Campaign Builder, get the ID of that form, plop it in there, and then it shows up here. So this button shows up, and I just click that, and there's the form first name and email. And then what else? The button text. So of course I want to control what that text is on the buttons. Button address. You know, maybe I don't want to use a form, but I just want the button to take them somewhere to another page, an order form or something. I can just put in the URL, and then when they hit the button, it takes them to the URL.
So what you're saying is that
EBS video strip. So I've got a video here. Just plop in from Easy Video Suite. I just plop in the code from the video there. It creates it there. So we worked on this together with my developers. So look, here's what I want. I want this overall template. Just make it so I can just go plug stuff in. I don't want to be writing code. I don't want to be doing stuff. I just want to plug it in and it works. And I can turn the Facebook comments on and off and that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's what I would recommend. This stuff is not expensive. You hire a developer to do something like this. You get a decent page like this for $100.
So this particular page, when you select it from the template, it actually ignores your other settings, all the plugins, everything else. So it's a template on your WordPress that's not using all the other things.
You can have them develop it however you want. I still use some of the standard header and footer stuff because we've got tracking code and all that kind of stuff that we want across the site. But yeah, this is not loading any other plugins or anything else. And yeah, once the WordPress developer, you can tell them, hey, look, don't load plugins, don't do that, so that, and the other, and they can code it however you want.
You mentioned that they break the lead source tracking. What is your favorite way of making that happen?
Well, my favorite way is this page right here. ROI Tracker is a tool. So back in 2008, when I was running marketing at Infusionsoft, I was like, well, look, Infusionsoft does lead source tracking, or well, I should say, it has a lead source field, but there's no way to like automatically get the data in there.
Right.
And so I developed a script to do that way back then as a PHP script, and then we evolved that into JavaScript, and now we've turned it into an actual tool where, and this is one of our free tools too, you can just sign up on this page, boxmarketing.com/ROI-tracker, and sign up, and give you a little JavaScript. You pop that on your page, just like Google Analytics, just so it loads everywhere. And then what happens is when you drive traffic, you're familiar with the UTM variables from Google Analytics?
Yep.
Yep, so you choose the same UTM variables that you're already using for Google Analytics, so I'll just structure one here. So UTM source equals, let's say I'm doing a Facebook ad. And so UTM campaign equals ROI traffic, so driving traffic to this page. And UTM, medium equals social because it's coming from Facebook. So as long as you're passing those UTM variables, someone comes to this page.
Hi there.
They don't notice anything, but if we go and look at let's inspect element on the form here. Show you a little behind the scenes. Here's all the stuff that's going on here. We're actually the same script that we use for ROI Tracker, we use for a bunch of different things. So you'll see here it's structuring, it's taking the source and the campaign, so Facebook ROI Tracker, and it's structuring them into the lead source value that's going to get passed in the hidden fields into the lead source for that contact. So then we know that contact came from that lead source.
Yep.
And then the category for that lead source is social. So then I can look at all my categories, social versus paid versus organic, whatever. And then we're also grabbing some geo tracking data here as well. So on this form, we're only taking name and email, and if I want to do some regionally targeted stuff down the road, I can do that because I know.
Roughly what is San Diego, California?
Well, obviously it's not perfect. It's going by IP address, but it thinks I'm in San Diego right now, based on the IP address. But it's close enough. I'm not going to do anything like, hey, you got to be in this particular zip code. I might advertise to a state or to a region or something, 100 miles within a zip code or something like that.
Is the geo tracker part of the form, is that part of your ROI tracker configuration you have, or is that like a whole separate development thing to get it?
It's another tool within the same suite of tools. It runs on the same script, but geo tracker is part of our suite of tools for members. You have to be a member to use that one.
Right.
But you just, once you're a member, you turn it on and you don't have to change the script or anything, it just runs.
Cool.
So then the benefit, of course, of that is once someone fills out this form and they have that lead source in there, I can log into Infusionsoft. You can tie expenses to lead sources. So you're doing some paid media now. Perfect. So you go and you enter your expenses, and then in the marketing reports, there's your lead source ROI report, which will show you each lead source, how much you spent on it, how much revenue you generated, and of course your ROI, your cost per contact, your cost per customer, all that kind of stuff. It's great data.
Is there a way to incorporate the UTMs with an affiliate link?
Yes.
Because I know that affiliate link tracking is.
Yes, I actually almost always don't do it this way. I'll use an affiliate link here and then put the UTMs on the end.
Okay.
And when it redirects, it still passes.
Does it? Okay, all right, great, that answers my question. Okay.
Yep. Yeah, always. Even if it's my own stuff, for multiple reasons. One is click tracking, but the main reason is if I'm spending money on advertising, I don't want to pay an affiliate commission on that. So
right.
Depending on how you're tracking your affiliates, right? Last referring, first referring, whatever. There's a bunch of different stuff behind that, but I don't want to pay an affiliate if I spend money on the ad, so I'll use my own house affiliate account.
Yeah, because we were having issues with the UTM. That's why I stopped, because just using affiliate links for tracking, I didn't know it was passing it forward, and trying to add it to the link when you make the affiliate, it just got confusing.
Yeah, I've said it, probably 1,000 times the last few years, and I'll say it again. Like the question earlier about hey, what's working and all that kind of stuff. Who knows? Like it changes every day, right? But you track this data, you track your lead source data, and know your expenses and your ROI on every activity you do, and that's how you figure it out. That is the game. At Infusionsoft, that's all I did all day long. That's why I went from 300 leads a month to 25,000 leads a month. Because I was given a small budget, we tracked lead sources, we knew exactly the return on every penny we spent, and we just played that game every day for 5 years. And it works. You know what you're spending, what you're getting out of it, and you can make an adjustment, or make adjustments based on whether or not you're making money or losing money. It's pretty basic when you think about it, but the tracking behind it can get a little sophisticated and get a little tricky. Now with tools like this, it's just so much easier. Having to figure this out 7 years ago from scratch was hard, but
That's what made you the marketer tech guru that you are.
that's why people think that I know what I'm talking about, but really I don't. I'm telling you what, I really don't know that much about this stuff. I just know that when I spend money and I make money, I want to do more of that. And if I spend money and lose money, I want to stop doing that. So, I don't have to be super smart. I'm not, and so I try to just follow the money.
Yeah, that's a really good thing. Follow the money, actually.
Yeah.
Because and this is, I'm just gonna sound funny, but it's a turning point, is all of our clients, they have this feeling, I think this one's gonna work. And I'm like, I don't know what's gonna work. I don't know. Let's just look at the data, right? I don't care what you think. I don't care what you feel.
You want to know the number one question that I ask people when I interview them for any marketing position? I started doing this at Infusionsoft, I've done it ever since. Is I'll tell them, okay, look, let's assume I gave you the job.
Yeah.
I'm director of marketing or whatever I am, and then we've got a CEO. And one day I come to you and say, hey, look, we're working on the website. I want the header to be red.
Yeah.
Same day, CEO comes and says, hey, I want the header to be green. Yeah. Which do you choose? And they'll come up with all kinds of stuff, right? They'll say, well, the CEO, he's the ultimate boss. I'm going to do whatever he says. You're my direct, I report directly to you, so I'm going to keep you happy, and I'm going to do whatever you say. All of those questions are wrong, or all those answers are wrong answers. The people that I choose are the ones who said, none of your opinions matter. I want to go test it.
Yeah.
Hallelujah. Let's talk some more.
Yeah.
Yeah. Someone that says that, I want to talk to them more. Is there anything else? Say thank you very much for your time. You're on the list.
So when it comes to tools like iTracker 360, yes, no, care?
Yeah. So Casey Page is a friend of mine. When I created the original version of this in 2008, he was a smart guy. I was an employee of Infusionsoft. I wasn't very smart. And he said, hey, that thing works really cool and people need it, so I'm gonna make a product out of it.
Right.
So he took my code and productized it and did a great job. Our iTracker 360 has some reporting features that I have never built into this.
Yeah.
Because I've always just, one of those things I hope one day Infusionsoft will build it. So if you're into that reporting that's working great, if you just use iTracker 360, it's essentially the same thing.
Got it.
We can get into technicalities of why I think there's some benefits of what we're doing here, but at the end of the day, it's not a big deal.
You probably figured out, okay.
Yeah.
Not that deep.
It works. It doesn't matter what it costs. It makes you money. Do it.
Got it.
All of it.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. That's true.
Cool. I gotta wrap up here. In 10 minutes I gotta hop on another call. But thanks everybody for coming.
Yeah.
Well, that's fun to meet you guys. Oh, question. Important question before we go. I need to adjust our time that we do this. Not necessarily in December. December we can probably keep it still in the morning like this. Are you guys okay if we did it in the afternoons? 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock, something like that?
More of a traffic issue, 2, 3 o'clock's probably good.
Yeah, some people just staring at me like, what's wrong with you? And other people saying,
I'm just thinking about the burritos.
yeah, it's like a burrito. That's what happened, man. Chris is like, not a burrito.
Burritos keep
It's a lunch burrito.
Do they do breakfast burritos all day long?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. All day long.
We don't call it.
Just test it. Like burritos.
Burritos at 3 p.m. So, it's either I can't do it and just have one of you guys take over this thing, or we do it at 3 p.m. I'm just not gonna be able to do it in the mornings going forward. So, yeah, we're running there. All right, let me just wrap up the broadcast here. Hey, thanks everybody for joining us online, and we'll talk to you next month. We'll get a replay out here soon.